how possible is it to make eBay reselling your full-time job? Hello everybody, welcome back to the cabin. Welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. I get this question all the time and I'm going to answer it today. I've answered it before on a video, but I'm going to answer it in a different way, a little bit more specific way. How possible is it to make eBay reselling your full-time job? And that's not an easy question to answer, and I don't take it lightly. And I have told a few people that it's time for you to do it, and it's probably not time for this person to do it. There's one person in my life I suggest all the time, quit your job and do this. And there's a lot of factors in it. But I got that question again twice today. I want to answer it. And this is a perfect day to do it because I got something from somebody who just became a full-time reseller. And you might be surprised to hear me say that I don't consider myself a full-time reseller. And I'll explain that and a bunch of other stuff and some sales as well. Let's take a look. I picked this day on purpose because there's not a whole lot of high dollar sales. And you got to, consider that when you're not selling stuff for big bucks. And if you watch my show, I don't sell stuff for big bucks every day. And today is a pretty good sales day as far as numbers, but not as far as average selling price. And so this is one of my better ones today, $36 for that troll plus shipping. A lot of trolls aren't worth much, especially when they say China on them. And this one, however, is a good one. And there's a couple similar to it that sell pretty good. This one sold for $36 plus shipping. By the way, Melissa might be a viewer, so I'm going to say thank you to Melissa. I remember there was a message I responded to, but I don't think you are a viewer. But in case you are, Melissa, thank you for buying that troll doll. I have a video about troll dolls. I should have bought every single one there that day. A lot of them were worth nothing, but I was searching through them, taking up time, and I would have been much better off because the price was so cheap, just buying all of them, sifting through them, pulling out the good ones, lotting up the rest, and selling them off. But, live and learn, I guess. Today didn't have the best sales in the world, but it's been a pretty good couple of days. Going out of here tomorrow is some big bucks. We're looking at 38 sales for just under $1,200 in today and tomorrow's sales so far. And by tomorrow, that number will go up. So to just kind of start talking about that number a little bit, profit margins, the way I do reselling are really, really good. Really good. So I would say at least half of that money, that total right there is going to be, well, let's say at least 40% of that is going to be profit. But in reality, it's probably closer to 50 or even over. Because if you watch my videos, I don't have huge, high selling priced items all the time. But I pay next to nothing. And let's see, here it is. Resident Evil, $15 for that one. I think that one's free ship. So not too bad, I guess. All right, the next sale is just crazy. I got to do this one. I'm going to do two more, and then we're going to start breaking down the numbers a little bit. I'm going to ask for suggestions, ask for info for you full-time resellers out there. So feel free to give some feedback. So here's the old 224 seal for Tupperware. Sell tons of these. Not a lot of money. This is going out for just under 13, I think, shipped. So it's not a bunch, but we get this stuff like crazy, super cheap. And so we make some money. It's super easy. And I don't mind selling them. It's, like I said, this isn't the greatest day of sales as far as number-wise, although I'll sell these all day long for $36 plus shipping. But this one to a viewer, and he had an interesting request. All right, I don't always get to sign in different things for different reasons when people buy things from CommonwealthPicker.com. Occasionally we do. But, well, we try our best. Let's just put it that way. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out for different reasons, but most of the time it does. But this one takes the cake. No pun intended for the cake pie taker. Maybe a little pun intended. He says, "Hi, viewer here. Do you mind signing this lid? I have sold so many of these. Who wants me to sign the Tupperware lid? Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be known for Tupperware and plush enemas, but, hey." Here we are, the reselling mascot and Tupperware. He says he's going to take it to Vegas later this month and get the rest of the Trash to Cash podcast guys to sign it. Carrie and Dave. Oh, they're going to love seeing that. Please and thank you. Awesome content, by the way. Keep up the great work. Got some great news for Trash to Cash podcast. I'm not going to Vegas, but it looks like, well, maybe I shouldn't announce it. Maybe Dave should announce it. Looks like they're going to do a live podcast and have a live audience, which is pretty cool. So we'll see. All right, Oscar, here you go. Here's the signature. I'm going to sign it, my John Hancock. I'm going to dwarf them so that they know. We're going to put it right here on top. There you go. That's me. We'll put CWP right there. And we'll let them, well, maybe we'll do, well, you write wherever you want. They can sign it there. Make sure they sign it smaller than me, though. Okay? Thanks, Oscar. Took a little longer to sell this than I thought it would. It's a New Wave induction oven. It is not the typical one that they have with the globe and everything. It's like a fondue kit right here. That's what it is. And I paid $5 and it was new. And I thought it would sell for more than it did, but I'm happy. It still sold for $29 plus shipping. And this thing is barely going to fit in the 12 by 12 by 8 if we go post office, but we might go UPS on that one. Our next one's appropriate in 2 ways because it's an 8-track, which we've started to sell those. You'll see a few more here in the coming days. Hopefully, anyways. I think they're going to go out of here pretty quick. We're putting pretty good prices on them. And this leads into the topic of conversation today, which is full-time reselling. And it is one of my favorites, Steve Miller Brand. Absolutely love it. Not a huge seller. Matter of fact, I don't even remember what it is. I think it was like $5 plus shipping. You know, is what it is. I love this. I mean, Steve Miller, just great stuff. My actual favorite. I like some strange Steve Miller. Wild Mountain Honey, if you know that one, I like that one. And Dance, Dance, Dance. I love that one too. Hey, this one's going out to Kirk. I want to read it real quick. He says he's a huge fan. He's been reselling part-time since 1999. Then he retired. He got bored. He started reselling again. And he says we've been an inspiration. He wanted to support somebody who he respected. Thank you. That's very kind of you. And that gives back. So, well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what? I feel like we don't give anything back compared to what you guys give us. And he said he needed an 8-track to test his new 8-track player. So, Kirk, I do appreciate it. And you've led us to a great topic of conversation. But before I mention that, I wanted to say that he said the CWP Enaman is what keeps things moving in his store. So, that's awesome. Thank you. E-Trading, E-Trading is the name of the store. So, thank you very much. I'm gonna have to silence my phone. All these trash to cashers keep sending me messages. I can't get my video filmed here. Dave and Carrie and Paul and even Kayla. And Kayla never responds to those clowns. What are you doing? It's kind of cool. I like it. But I gotta edit out the buzzes all the time. So let's talk about full-time reseller. Matter of fact, there's good people to talk about. Definitely not Dave here because he's not a full-time reseller. But you know, Carrie, full-time reseller. And Paul, definitely full-time reseller. And Kayla has been for a long time, and John, her husband. And so it's a little different, though, when you answer this question, because there's always, you know, there's YouTube that's involved in this too, right? And sometimes the spouse has a job, sometimes they don't. And I think all of those things are really interesting parts of this question. And I'm going to read the question, and then I'm going to give you specifics as it relates to me, and give those people who want to go full-time reselling a little bit of insight that you might not grasp by watching shows like this. Okay, the question comes from Robert, and I'll read the whole thing, I guess. Just wanted to ask you a quick question. I know you're busy, so if you don't have time to answer it, I understand. So just a side note, it is difficult to get to everything. I pick and choose emails, and I don't respond at all on Facebook. In case you're trying to get in touch with me on Facebook, it's so, I mean, literally hundreds a day. I don't respond on there. The best chance is through Instagram for me responding, or in the comments of a video. I try to respond in there a lot as well. So, Robert, here's the question here. Have I been watching your, or I have been watching? I don't know. I have been watching your YouTube channel, and my wife and I have started dabbling in selling on eBay and maybe a little bit on Amazon as well. How possible do you feel it is to make a full-time living on eBay? Here's the question that is always the context for a particular person, and they give me a little bit of their context here. My wife and I currently have a cleaning business, but would love to transition to something online. We have been doing the thrifting and Goodwill model as no yard sales yet here in Maryland, but we'll be trying that as well. Thanks again, and great job on YouTube. Enjoy it, Robert. So, Robert, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to answer your question the best I can as it pertains to you and as it pertains to a lot of folks out there, not to mention how it pertained to me making that decision. All right, to answer this question, I put Pete, Craigslist Hunter, up on the screen here because he's a reseller, but he owns a store, right? And so it's a different type of reselling. So there's all kinds of different models. And so you suggested a model that was thrift store model, maybe doing garage sales. And I'm just going to say this. I'm going to give you a little context for me and then answer your question, what I think about your situation, just knowing that I'm certainly not an expert over everything, but the type of things I would consider before making that leap. I like to move the camera angle every now and again. So I'm going to start by saying that this might surprise some of you, it won't surprise others, that I don't consider myself a full-time reseller because all of my income doesn't come from reselling. I have a few different streams of income, including this channel right here makes us money. So it used to be, you know, I was a teacher and my side gig was reselling. For a time there, I was a reseller and my side gig was YouTube. Now I feel like I'm a YouTuber and my side gig is now again reselling. Now I'll say this, I make far more reselling now than I ever had before. And I make more money reselling, profit, after taxes, the whole 9 yards, than I did as a high school history teacher. So if we were surviving as me being a high school history teacher alone, no other income coming into our house, we were barely making it. We would be scraping by, but we were always doing reselling on the sides, and that's how we made things work. So I'm going to give you a few other pieces of context and questions you have to answer for yourself, in my opinion, in order to make that decision. And I'm going to ask all the part-time, full-time resellers out there to chime in the comments as well and kind of give these folks some advice. Let me first say this. The number one factor I always ask people is there another income in the household? Is there a primary income in the household where the secondary income earner is going to quit their job or stop doing what they're doing or whatever and become a full-time reseller? In that case, the question is not always that hard, especially if that full-time wage earner is making enough money to put some in retirement, 401k, a Roth IRA, maybe even has health insurance and those kind of things. Then yeah, maybe it's definitely possible because you're exchanging, a second income that's maybe even part-time for a reselling income. That's question number one. And if that's the setup, it's probably almost always okay. Now that wasn't the case for me. I gave up my job. I gave up the insurance. I gave up the retirement, the whole 9 yards. But I wouldn't have done that had it not been for YouTube. I would not have made that decision. So I don't want people to get confused out there. YouTube was a part of my decision. That's why I say I still don't consider myself a full-time reseller, although we have got those numbers up there. I do think that, let's say YouTube falls apart and tomorrow there is no more YouTube and it explodes. Okay. At that point, I don't know if I would go back to teaching at that point, because I really, truly do believe, because I didn't make that much money teaching, that we could make it work, because we've already ramped, just with a little bit more time, we've ramped it up and we've doubled our sales, what we used to do. And it's still not at the peak. Now, there are other factors like, selling this stuff, obviously, that aren't part of it, right? And there's viewer sales, mixed in too. So that's a factor as it relates to me. But if I were to do reselling full-time, my only income, not do YouTube, I would not do it in this way. I would not do the thrift store model only. I would not do the thrift store garage sale model only. I would develop relationships. One specific relationship, 2 specific relationships can make reselling doable full-time. If you get the right connections, that's the way to go. Amazon's another aspect of it that could make it much more profitable. But selling this stuff like this, it's possible, definitely possible in my opinion, even in a bad area for thrifting. This is a terrible area for thrifting. Terrible. I mean, just ask anybody who's ever come here. It is not a great area compared to other parts of the country. Difficult to make $50,000 a year profit from thrift stores. Almost impossible around here unless you're going to work like 12 hours a day. Very, very hard. Thrift store garage sale model around here, if you know what you're doing, you can make 50 grand profit. Definitely. There's no doubt about it. You can definitely do it. Is that enough for you to survive though? That's pretty tough these days. If you live in certain parts of the country, no way you're surviving a whole family with $50,000. Just not happening. All right, I'm going to answer a couple more aspects of this from my point of view. Then we're going to get back to reselling here because I got to make some reselling money too. So, all right, there's other things. So I'm going to give you my own personal experience here. I didn't make very much as a teacher. I was teaching for 21 years, and out the door, I made 42 grand my last year. And that was after 21 years, okay? And I had to pay for my family's health insurance. They only paid for mine. So it's not like I was walking away from a $100,000 a year job. But a couple things that made this possible for me, where it may not be possible for other people, is I have no debt. I don't spend money on much of anything. to be honest with you. And that made some people are like, yeah, we've seen you negotiate a garage sale. But I'm serious. I don't have debt. I have a mortgage on my house. I don't buy new cars. I've never owned a new car in my life. I don't have a car payment. I pay cash for cars. Always have. Hopefully always will. I don't have a credit card that I use. I have one for the business now, but I've never used one for myself. I didn't even own a credit card on my own. I just hated them. My family doesn't need much to survive. We just don't. And so it's a lifestyle decision. You know, we don't go on extravagant vacations. You know, I've already said we don't buy great cars. Or, you know, our mortgage, y'all, our mortgage right here is under $800 a month. Under $800 a month. The last time I filled up for $364. Compare that to where you're at in the country, right? So cost of living is a huge, huge deal. I don't spend that much on gas anymore because I don't even leave the house some days. We don't even go anywhere. You know, what is your cost of living? What is the lifestyle you want to live? And how much is the bottom that you can live on? I think all of those are important questions. Do you have kids? Do you want to put them through college? You know, you have all those questions to answer, and you didn't give me any of that information. And I think that those are really, really key important questions. So I really want some actual full-timers out there. No other income coming to you except for through your reselling business. And even people don't own any brick or mortar whatsoever. And give your advice down below, your best advice. I would tell this couple right now, Robert, I would tell you that definitely not the time to do it, having not gone through a yard sale season to see even if you've got good sales up there and can make enough money. Definitely not. And, you know, the thrift store business, it is a little rough these days, y'all. Some of the thrift store prices are going sky high, making it pretty hard. So, Ab Lounge 2 DVD set right here. I don't even know where I got it from. And it's sold on Bonanza. $16, over $16, $16.72, I think. All in on that one for an Ab Lounge DVD video. Got a little PSP game at $15, so you can see the trend here of low cost sales. Tomorrow we have some really good ones. But, you know, some days are like this, which is why I don't mind selling these small things, because you got to have income coming in every single day if you're paying your bills, right? One sold for $15. Free shipping, and I paid $1 for it. Looks like I'm out of 5x5x5 boxes, but I usually, to ship something like that, it is usually okay to just use something like this because these are hard cases. But this one, if you notice, had a little damage there. So you see it's got a little bend in it. So this one, I'll probably put a piece of cardboard above it and below it and then slide it in there. But typically, if it wasn't broke, I would just do that. So I want to give a quick thank you to Sue for buying plans for the Commonwealth Picker shipping table over there on CommonwealthPicker.com. And I sold something I love to sell, but don't suggest selling. And I only paid $1.50 for these, and I just couldn't resist buying them, even though I knew it wasn't the greatest deal in the world. And then what I should have done is put them in my antique booth. There are 2 of them that are clear, and the clear ones do not sell well at all. Matter of fact, these ones don't even sell very well, the amber, but they sell better. I probably could have sold this one for what I sold all 3 of them for. And I think it was $9 maybe plus shipping. I think that's right. And these 3 are headed out the door together. What a pain in the butt. Not the best decision, and not the kind of thing you want to sell if you're trying to make a living. I should have put these 2 in the booth for like $3 a piece. And this one should have sold it for $8 plus shipping. The round ones that are inserts into like the cigarette stands, the ashtray stands, those have decent value, probably worth it. And there are a ton of ashtrays that do have value and are worth it. These just happen to not be those. But I am happy. It is such a good deal, and it's going out to, because it's going out to a viewer, Ingrid. I like it. Crazy Armadillo. That's the name of your eBay name. That's a good name. I like it. Hi, Kevin. I'm a viewer of your channel, which I really enjoy, and Trash to Cash, which I enjoy too, but not nearly as much. That is awesome. I'm going to send that to Carrie and Dave. I'm a reseller getting back into selling after a long hiatus. I appreciate your tips and advice. Thanks, Ingrid. Ingrid, thank you. The Crazy Armadillo. I hope you enjoy those ashtrays. Hope you're not using them, but I hope you enjoy them. Thank you. But y'all sold a record. I'll be selling a bunch of records over the coming days here. I've been doing some auctions. That reminds me, we're going to do a giveaway at the end of today. We're going to announce a giveaway for that, what do we do? For that black light to catch uranium glass. That is Black Sabbath, Born Again. Freaky looking right there, let me tell you. crazy. And that sold for, I think, just under $22 plus shipping. Our Turner and me were looking for something when we could not find it, but we finally found it, didn't we, bud?
Yeah.
And this guy right here, who is that?
Cookie Monster.
It's Cookie Monster, isn't it? What does Cookie Monster say?
Nom nom nom.
Nom 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 nom. And he stuffs the cookies in his mouth, right? I like it. And then they all fall all over the floor because it's a puppet and they can't really swallow the stuff. That one right there went to Michelle, and I'm going to read their message in just a second. And what else did you sell there, buddy?
E.T. and who's it?
Hold it up a little bit so they can see it. There you go. Gertie. That's Gertie right there. A little pin. And that right there, both combined, sold for $17 plus shipping. Would you say thank you to Michelle?
Thank you, Michelle.
All right, but do you think you want to grow up and be a full-time reseller?
No.
No? You don't want to? What do you want to be when you grow up?
What's it called? An announcer.
You want to be an announcer?
MLB.
For what?
MLB.
A Major League Baseball announcer.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great job. I think that's a really good job. I think you can do it too. All right, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Definitely enough money for you to do what?
Save $1, spend $1, and donate $1. Bye.
All right, and that reminded me of something I'll talk about in just a second. Plus, something came in the mail, and we got to go inside. We got more sales. And that one was bought by Michelle. Hi, this is Michelle from Belle Plaine, Iowa. Just wanted to say that my fiance and I really enjoy watching your videos. He, too, is a reseller on eBay, and he's been doing it for a year now, and he loves going out and finding things to flip. So awesome. Thank you very much, Michelle, and thank you to your fiance as well. We wish you the very best. And that reminds me of something that came in the mail. Speaking of full-time reselling here, Mountain Man Treasure sent me, this will tell you how old and just uncool and unhip I am. He sent me the Statler Brothers. I mean, look at those outfits though, y'all. I mean, the pastels and the white pants, that's just classic. Because he knows I love playing cassettes. So Troy, thank you. And Troy just went full-time as well. He asked me for advice, and my best advice was to go and ask somebody else. Meaning, I really am doing this because I love doing this. This is what I love. If I had to sell shoes all day, every day, I wouldn't do it. It's a job. I'd rather go teach than do a job. And that's not to say I don't sell shoes. It's just not what I enjoy. If there was something, if I was getting something from a supplier every single day, I don't know. If it was something cool that I really liked, you know, but to me, it would seem like a job. I love the hunt. I love finding cool old things. I love finding different things. And so this doesn't feel like a job to me, which is why I love it. So I think that's part of it too. If you see this and you think, oh, I'd rather do that than my job, this isn't the model that works for most people, to be perfectly honest with you. This is a part-time model that is fun. And that's the way I love it. That's not to say I can't make a living doing it. I can. It's just there's a limit to it because there's a lot of work involved in some of this. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully some people who do this full-time can leave their experiences, because there's different places that have different resources than right here. I tell people all the time, down in Raleigh, you can make a ton of money on golf clubs. I tell my uncle all the time to quit his job because he gets crazy good stuff. He just doesn't have time to sell it all. He's sitting on $75,000 of merchandise. He needs to get rid of it. You know, quit your job. I kid with him, but at any rate. You may hear a basketball bouncing out there because I told Turner he could finally start bouncing that basketball because I was almost done with this video. He's been waiting for me for a while. So, sold a Tar Heel plush, and I knocked some Furbies on the ground. And this one took forever to sell, but it finally did. Sold for $10 plus shipping. Must have been the NCAA championship appearance. Another small sale here, some staples, some vintage staples right there. Not huge money, but, you know, now that some people are back to work, they sell from time to time. $12, free shipping. There's another good piece of context for you right there. I'm filming you. Do you have a partner that's willing to help you resell?
No.
And you, who are you talking about? You do a ton. She's you. Oh, you meant me. Really funny there. Scooby sold. Did you list Scooby? No, Erica might have done that one, huh? All right, that one right there sold for $25. Believe it or not, Scooby's got a following, y'all. $25 plus shipping on that one. I think I got this one from the 127 sale. Pretty sure. I'll say just a couple more things about reselling in here. One of them is, and because of one of these sales today, it's been a return twice. I've had the same item returned to me 2 times. It's that Sleep Number bed, and that's a huge sale item, $89 plus shipping. Both times they're like, oh, it works. It just isn't for the right model. And so I've got to actually go in and look it up. It's sold again, $89 plus shipping again. If it comes back a third time, I'm going to have to call the company and figure out if I've got a model wrong or what exact bed models go with that model remote. Nobody's complained about it not working. They just can't get it to work with their model. Then they call the company and whatever. So, you know, I don't want a third return. That would be nuts. But, you know, you got to have a cushion. You got to have some money stored away to get through the ups and downs of reselling. If you don't, it's not the best idea to go into it, in my opinion. But, you know, hey, this is also not a good idea. Selling replacement backgammon magnetic travel pieces, not a good idea. And these are the last 2 brown and cream ones, hopefully, that I ever sell as just a set of 2. I sometimes pick them up for 50 cents and sell them for $10 as a set, and then it's worth it. But this is just pure insanity, and I'm glad I'm finally through with them. And you also have to have a companion because you get lonely selling things in your basement. So you got to have a store of food down here so you can have a buddy when you resell, huh, bud? I'm trying to keep other dogs out of the house for you. So at any rate, let's go back outside. All right, Sophie, you don't know how lucky you were, girl, today. Because these 2 girls here went looking at dogs today at the pet store. And sometimes that's dangerous. And we survived another day without another dog. So I'm really happy you made that decision. That's really good.
Well, it's only $3,000. So.
3,000. Yeah, well, we're not doing that. All right. What do you got there? Who got what?
Julie and Lee, Sandra, and Tyler.
Julie and Lee, Sandra, and Tyler. And that sounds like Turner just threw the basketball against the shed. And what did they get? They got some stuff there. I know one got a couple of shirts, an Enema Man, one of these blue guys up here, and there was one. Somebody got a fanny pack and a pink hat. There you go. Where are those fanny packs? I don't know what I did with them.
I don't know.
They're down there at the bottom.
Way bottom here.
Anyway, and that's what we sold today. And actually, that's just a portion. You guys have a ton of stuff to ship out of here tomorrow.
Yep.
So that'll be fun for you. Maybe. I don't know.
I like it.
You like it, don't you? That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Bye. And don't forget to get your sticker at CommonwealthPicker.com.
One more thing really quick about reselling that I failed to mention, and that is I mentioned where you live is important, but for some people, the difference between being able to make it as a reseller or not make it as a reseller is being in a populated area where they can do local sales, where they can flip it locally on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and get bigger items and then turn those profits. I know Paul, Philly Flipper, does that, and I know a lot of resellers who do. I do it from time to time. It's pretty difficult. Usually that local flip is in my booth on some of the bigger items, but it's really hard for me to do that because I just don't live in a populated area, and so there's not much demand for certain items. But it is possible. It's also a long way to travel to meet me somewhere or something, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. And that is a huge part of reselling. A lot of people can flip furniture or, you know, certain electronics that are heavy and a pain in the butt to ship. There's all kinds of different things you can flip locally that might be the difference maker. And you've been able to make it. You know, if you can make $5,000 to $10,000 more a year with local flips, plus on top of that, the sourcing and sourcing Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist giveaways, that is huge. And you can source locally through an online platform, if you know what I'm talking about. And that could really, really make a huge difference. I know a lot of successful Instagram folks that I follow they do a lot of local flipping. So at any rate, that's just a couple more thoughts, and a thank you to Jane, Jyne, 20 pieces of the shed, 20 buy me a coffees over there, buymeacoffee.com/Commonwealth. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Oh, giveaways. Hey, Little Miss Q, I'm going to ship your thing out really quickly right here. It's probably on its way by the time you hear this. And the Glow Me, the light is headed out of here with the 2 magnets, the 2 jewelry magnets, headed out of here to Cards for Kids Oregon. Been a long time since I've seen your name on those comments. And I'm glad you're still around watching. So very cool. He does cards for kids. He gives cards, if I remember correctly, to kids in the hospital. Sports cards and different kind of cards, and they can open them. So you have to tell me if I'm wrong about that. So thank you for that. You guys are going to win. And this is headed your way if you leave me a message either on Instagram or hit me up in an email, and I'll send it your way. I don't think we had a winner for the Matt Part-Time Picker hat. We're going to run it again. So put something, anything that relate. Well, we got to do it kind of more systematic, I guess. Let's go. It's always got to be the first one there, right? Let's go. You know what? Let's change it. Let's do Santa Cruz. Put Santa Cruz in the comments somewhere. Work it into a sentence in there. And you'll get a chance to win a Matt Part-Time Picker autographed hat, homemade, handmade, whatever you want to call it. He makes his own hats, which is awesome. And that'll be headed out to you. We'll announce that one on the next show or the one after that probably. And then more giveaways coming up, bigger items. I've got one right here. I can't wait to give it away. It's really cool. And as soon as you see that ad, that sponsored video on the Picker channel, which I thought was going to be very soon, it might be pushed back another few days, but as soon as you see that, come over here. The next video, we're going to give away what's in this box down here. And if you listen to the Trash to Cash podcast, you know what it is. And then hopefully after that, the next one we do, which might be a month away or so, it's going to be a roller printer. I'm excited about that. And you guys make it all possible, and I can't wait to see you next time.
We do. You come and see Mom. You come and see Mom. Hi. These boots.
We got problems, y'all. This is ridiculous.
This is
First of all,
not
these cats,
ridiculous.
none of these cats come in here,
Look how
except for Pepper,
adorable.
unless you're here.
I know. He's a baby.
Baby.
So chunky.
Fat.
Him's chunky.
Look at Boots back there trying to make trouble already. See, Pepper's the only good cat.
I think he's a great cat.
Well, I guess.
They're
Spoiled rotten.
sweet babies. Give me all your cats. Bring me your hungry,
You should be
your
the
flea
statue of
infested-
cat liberty.
Yes.